Judith, Part 2, A Whisper of Faith and the Spirit's Unseen Strength. As the dust of conquest settled across the land scarred by Nebuchadnezzar's wrath, I, a humble witness to these turbulent times, found myself drawn into a narrative where human pride clashed with a higher destiny. It was the 18th year of his reign, and Holofernes, his formidable chief captain, had marched westward with an unrelenting force. Now, as the echoes of his victories reached the trembling seacoast, a new chapter began to unfold. Messengers from Sidon, Tyre, Sur, Ochina, Gemnon, Azotus, and Ashkelon approached Holofernes with words of surrender. Behold, we, the servants of Nebuchadnezzar, lie before you, they pleaded. Our dwellings, fields, flocks, cities, and people are yours to command as you will. Their submission, marked by garlands and the rhythmic beat of timbrels, masked a fragile hope. Yet I felt a gentle stirring, an unseen presence, inviting you to sense the comfort that once sustained a people in the depths of bondage. Holofernes descended with his army, establishing garrisons in the high cities and enlisting chosen men as allies. The local people welcomed him with dances, but his response was swift and ruthless. He razed their borders and sacred groves, determined to obliterate their gods and enforce Nebuchadnezzar's edict that all nations worship him alone. His march led to Esdraelon, near Dotea, opposite Judea's rugged ridge, where he encamped between Jeba and Scythopolis for a full month, amassing supplies for his campaign. This act of desecration sparked a profound question within me. Can human power uproot the roots of true faith? As I reflected, I recognized the enduring truth that no earthly throne can overshadow the one who governs all, and this quiet assurance beckons you to anchor your hope in what transcends the fleeting. In Judea, the sons of Israel learned of Holofernes' devastation, temples plundered, sanctuaries defiled. Fear gripped our hearts, for we had only recently returned from captivity, our altar and temple freshly sanctified. I joined my people as we dispatched warnings to Samaria, Kone, Beth-horon, Belmaim, Jericho, Choba, Sora, and the valley of Salem, fortifying the hilltops, stockpiling provisions, and guarding the narrow passes near Bethulia and Betamistang, which faced Esdraelon. Jehoiakim, the high priest, rallied us, and we seized the ascents, knowing the approach was so narrow it allowed only 2 men abreast, a strategic stand born of unwavering faith. This collective effort echoed a time when walls crumbled not by human might, but by trust in a higher power, inviting a strengthening presence to assure you that you are never forsaken in your struggles. In our desperation, every man, woman, child, sojourner, servant, and even our cattle donned sackcloth, falling before the temple with ashes on our heads, spreading sackcloth around the altar. We cried out to the God of Israel, pleading that our children not become prey, our wives plundered, our cities reduced to ruins, or our sanctuary mocked before rejoicing nations. Our fasting and prayers rose as a unified plea, and a compassionate gaze turned toward our affliction. Jehoiakim and the priests, clad in sackcloth, offered burnt offerings and vows, their ashes a humble offering. This collective supplication revealed our deep dependence on divine mercy, and a gentle peace moves to fill you with the certainty that heartfelt cries are heard and answered in the stillness. Holofernes, incensed by our preparations, summoned the princes of Moab, Ammon, and the seacoast governors, demanding, "Tell me about these hill dwellers. What cities do they hold? How strong is their army? Who leads them? Why do they defy me?" Akir, leader of the Ammonites, stepped forward with courage. "Let my lord hear truth from your servant," he began. "These are Chaldeans who, rejecting their fathers' gods, worship the God of heaven. Cast out, they fled to Mesopotamia, then Canaan, where they prospered with wealth. Famine drove them to Egypt, where they multiplied, but the king enslaved them. They cried out, and their God unleashed plagues. Water turned to blood, frogs, lice, pestilence, boils, hail, locusts, darkness, and the death of the firstborn, casting the Egyptians out. He parted the sea, leading them to Sinai, Kadesh Barnea, and the Amorite land, where they conquered by his strength. In obedience they thrived. In sin they fell to captivity, their temple destroyed. Now, returned to Jerusalem, they serve their God. If they sin, we may conquer them. But if they remain faithful, their God, who delivered them from Egypt's might with miracles, will shield them, and we will be shamed." Akir's words painted a vivid history, a testament to a people sustained by faith, inviting a presence to assure you that the same hand guides through every wilderness. They carried a vital truth. If the Israelites remain faithful, they are undefeatable, protected by a power that parted seas and toppled nations, a lesson echoing into our modern day. If we hold fast to God with unwavering trust, we are saved, for no force can prevail against us. Yet if we sin, we open ourselves to conquest, as their captivity proved. And today, if we stray, we risk falling, a call to return with all our hearts. Holofernes' men, however, scorned this wisdom, murmuring, "Kill him. We fear not Israel. They are weak. Let's devour them." This hardness of heart deepened the story's tension, and a quiet urging moves you toward discernment and steadfastness. Philosophically, I reflected on obedience versus rebellion. The nation's submission preserved them briefly, but Holofernes' idolatry sought to supplant the true God, futile quest against a power that outlasts all idols. Our fasting and prayers answered the question of true strength. It lies in humility before the one who reigns, a grace that lifts the lowly. Historically, this mirrored Israel's cycles of faithfulness and exile, a pattern of discipline and restoration, guiding you through trials with the promise of renewed vigor. The narrative gap of Holofernes' next move loomed, but our preparations and Acker's testimony filled it with hope. His army's might, like a relentless flood, recalled ancient judgments, yet our God had turned back waters and raised defenses. The sackcloth and ashes, a public plea, echoed a city's repentance, inviting a presence to move you to seek a merciful face. Holofernes' anger, a human flaw, contrasted with our trust, teaching that safety rests with the one who shelters the oppressed. As I stood among my people, I felt the weight of our cry and the promise it carried. This tale, a prelude to deliverance, calls a gentle strength to fill your heart with courage, to trust that from this fear a light will rise, a woman of faith, unseen yet foretold. The nation's dread and our prayer weave a story of judgment and mercy, urging you to lean on the one who never abandons, preparing your soul for victory through faithfulness, a timeless truth for every age.